I'll do that again with sound on. Howdy, folks. It's Sunday night. It's the APAT Show. Happy Father's Day to you dads out there. Here's one dad just clunking it up already. And that's what we're meant to do, Lee. That's what we're meant to do. Now, I said to you just before we went in, I thought you got a bit of sun. And you sort of marveled at that and said, I don't think so, Des. I wasn't really out in the sun. I mean, at least there was no sun there. But I think you did. I think you got a bit of sun today. What were you up to?
Oh, just sat in the garden, went over to see Jen's parents, obviously it being Father's Day. So popped over there with the dogs to say hello. And yeah, but it was a cloudy, overcast day on the coast, but clearly sat in the wrong direction. So
clearly somebody's got a bit of, I came across this great app. I don't know if you've seen anything like this. It's not even an app, it's a website. Sean shared this with me a couple of days ago. I think it's called lightningstrike.org or something like that. And it shows in real time around the globe where lightning is hitting. And you can see the flashes on the map. You can see where the radius of the thunder sound and stuff like that in real time. Absolutely sensational. Very, very cool stuff there, I have to say. But talking about lightning striking, who is lightning going to strike for tonight, Lee? What tourneys will we follow? The link is tenuous, admittedly.
The most tenuous link, but also it felt very game show-like, to be honest. Yes, it's come on down, the price is right, and all that. Yeah, all that. Yeah, so it's Sunday night is always the way. Currently, top of the tree in leaderboard ladders going into this final day is Igor Asimov from Germany. 4 cashes so far this week for him. He's being chased down though by Tony Ross. In second place at the moment. We've also got Andrew Goddard there, Tony Giantini's there, Gordon MacArthur is in the mix, Mark Shepstone is in the mix, all looking in the top 20, looking to add to their tokens from the past few weeks. 4 events tonight. Deep Stack's already concluded, 59 runners in that. That was a win for Canada, actually first and second for Canada, actually. Nice. Rupin Ohanian took the win there, and Carla Pacheco from Canada was second. Third place from Sweden was Nicholas Clay Lundberg. So well done to you guys and all 9 of you that cashed in total. Main event, where we smashed the guarantee. 2,500 is the guarantee. We've made $2,754 tonight, which means there is $722 up top. 89 runners. We're down to 8, so we're in the money. It's paying the top 15. Top prize tonight, $722. Currently, chip leader is Royston Wijman from the Netherlands, being chased quite closely by Paul Allen from the UK at the moment. Gordon MacArthur still in there, Danny Strange there, and Ray Chan from Canada. And Mark Shepstone, who we mentioned on the leaderboard. He's currently he's on step 5 at the moment. Mark is actually
nice.
He's starting to become that kind of that MacArthur cheap date thing. We've spoken about in the past. Yeah,
got to be careful about that. We've got to be careful about that, Lee.
It's heading that way. But more about Mark later on. Actually, he's one of those that responded to my my Facebook post the other day regarding the show. So the 8 o'clock PLO main event, 31 runners in that. We are down to 6. As I predict, what did I say, Des? We were just about to come on the show. I said we're on the final table of the PLO. I said, Brian Yates is on the final table. He's short stacked. I said, I bet you.
Oh, no. He's gone, isn't he?
He's gone. He went in 7th place. So just missed the money for Brian. 6 of them remaining, though. There's a couple of young whippersnappers on this final table. Brendan Byrne and Peter Monroe, 2 up-and-coming poker players. Both, I think, have got a decent future in the game. But I would imagine with those 2 at that table, it's going to be pretty fast and furious. I don't think we'll be long before we're down to a heads up. It'll be the pair of them. They'll chop it.
Fantastic. So quite a bit to look out for. And if there's $700 up top in the main, I mean, that's just about enough to get you through Prime Day, right? I think that kicks off tomorrow. I need $700. Yeah, I could buy an iPhone or something. I need an iPhone. Let's just. Is it too late to buy in? Is it too late to buy in?
We could get you in there, I think.
Can we get me in? 2 tables. That's about my sort of good luck period there, with 2 tables to go. Yeah,
I think we can manage that. We'll get you into that one, not a problem. And finally, the 9 o'clock turbo knockout. 55 runners in that tonight, so that's beat the guarantee as it always does. A little bit quieter tonight, to be honest, but it's still beating the guarantee on that, and it's paying top 9, already down to 22. They don't mess about in that one, so we'll keep an eye on that one as well. So that's your poker for tonight. If you're playing in anything else on Party Poker. I know that the World Cup of Cards has started this weekend. So if you're playing in that or any of the new, there's a couple of cracking new Legends games. The Weekender and the Grand. The Grand started last week. New weekly tournament. So if you're playing in any of those or having a deep run in those, whether it's on Party Poker or, to be fair, anywhere, whether you're playing on Unibet or Stars or GG or whatever, if you're having a deep run somewhere tonight, let us know.
I like it. I like it very much. Right, let's see if we can get a table up, Leigh. Let's have a look. How do we do this? Oh, yeah. It's been like a week. Although it's not been a week, Leigh, because we've done some stuff during the week. We had an Orbit extra. We'll come back. We'll talk about those, won't we?
We'll talk about all of that. Whilst you're getting that sorted, I can see actually Mark Shepstone. God, crack, it's about the fourth mention Mark's had tonight. Seriously, I'm not on any commission or anything here, honestly. Mark's, this is not, well, yeah. I'm now sponsored by Mark Shepstone on the APAT Show. Did I not mention that, Des? I did a deal during the week. So,
how do you get a Mark Shepstone shirt, Leigh? Can you advise the viewers?
So Mark says evening all, and so I mentioned Mark's going to come on the show in
nice.
Well, hopefully about 4 weeks. So he's got to wait till the kids break up and it's kind of the summer break. But very keen to get on the show. I don't really know much about Mark, so I'll be.
That's
but
perfect.
He's been playing APAT regularly. He's up to step 5 on the leaderboard ladders. So looking forward to getting him on the show. And I hope he likes football, Des. Otherwise, I mean, it could be a tough watch if he doesn't.
No point coming on the APAT Show unless you like football, Leigh. Everybody knows that.
I should have asked who he supports. Really, I should have. Should have found that out. But hey, at the moment, obviously with the Euros, it doesn't matter who you support. Football's the winner, isn't it? I mean, at the moment, it's just an absolute festival of football at the moment, and of course, a great day for Wales.
Great day for Wales.
It was already in the bag. It was in the bag, kind of thing already. So
but all the same, nice to just finalize it.
Second in the group is actually massive because you wouldn't have wanted to have ended up third if the goal difference had gone the wrong way. I wasn't expecting us to get anything in Rome. Just as we're talking there, Danny Strange has just doubled up through Mark. And Mark is on half a big blind, so he's pretty much got it all in this hand. We'll just watch this one play out. Mark says he's a Norwich City fan, Des.
Holy shitballs. We're going to Norwich City. First day of the season. I have to say, though, Leigh, when we won the Premier League, I mean, it feels like ages ago. It doesn't feel like 30 years, but it feels like ages ago.
If you won it, an
entire season ago, when we won it, our first home match of that season, our first match of that season was at home to Norwich City on a Friday night at Anfield. I was happy to be there. Liverpool, I think, winning 4-1 from memory on that occasion.
Mark gets his double up through chip leader Royston. Ace was good. So it puts him up to 2.5 big blinds now, and he gets a kiss from Royston across the table. I mean, seriously, does it get any better than that? Not sure. So for Wales, I think finishing second in the group, so the goal difference didn't go the wrong way. That's a good.
No issue with that at all.
The draw going through, I'm putting us in the semi-finals now, pretty much. I'm really liking our run.
So you got one of the cold countries next, right? You got to visit a cold country.
This is the bizarre thing. So I went on Sky Bet earlier on, thinking, I'll just see what Wales. Actually, I first of all went on thinking, well, let's find out who's the favourites now, because it's been a weird tournament so far, isn't it? It's been hits and misses, and it's a fairly level playing field. So I thought, that's interesting. So I looked down to see, let's see where Wales are to win the tournament. 80-1 we are. Okay, 80-1. We're in the last 16. We're 80-1. Okay, I can cope. That's not a problem.
Yeah.
Guess who's 9th in that table at 40-1? So they're half the odds of us to win the tournament.
Blimey, not the Scots.
No, Denmark.
Well,
played 2, lost 2.
Yeah, delicate position. In fairness,
they've got to beat Russia, who've already beaten Finland, who've already beaten Denmark. But obviously it's a one-off game for them now.
And the game's in Copenhagen, right?
How on earth are Denmark like half the odds of Wales to win this tournament outright?
It's interesting. It's
an
interesting
played
one.
2, lost 2. It's a bizarre situation.
Yeah, it's an interesting one. Where are England?
I think they were joint second, if I remember rightly.
And France still the favourites despite their...
Oh no, they've gone to 7. So France are 7-2. Belgium, Germany, and Italy are all 6-1, and then England are 7-1. Portugal 9-1. Spain 10-1. Netherlands 12s, and then it's Denmark and further out. Scotland 200-1.
A bit unfair. I thought they played, showed tons of heart against England.
The point is for Scotland is they're in that situation now, aren't they? Where next game, got to win it, you get through. And as I've said,
they're in knockout stage already.
I've said with all of these things with the group stages here, because you're only actually losing 8 teams, you're losing a third of the field in the group stages. That's all. It then comes down to can you win four knockout games in a row, and you get the trophy. It's as simple as that. And there's no I mean, Scotland can take teams to can nick a 1-0.
Well,
there'll be teams that'll win it. They'll take it to penalties. They'll win their way through doing that. Portugal did it for 5 years ago.
Yeah, Mancini said it very wisely after today's game against Wales. He was being congratulated on his team hitting 30 unbeaten for Italy and 10 games without conceding a goal and all of that good stuff. He says, forget all about that. He said there's a new European Championship now, and it starts at the next stage, because now we're in knockout, and now a team like Wales, who actually looked reasonably comfortable on the back foot for a lot of that game against Italy. They look like they could hold them out.
We played a third of it with 10. We played a third of it with 10.
Despite that, right? But a team that is incredibly disciplined in defence, you can nick a goal, go through in penalties, whatever.
And we're basically gonna play now either Russia, Finland, or Denmark.
Yeah,
that's who we've got.
I think the Danes are the best of those three, despite their opening 2 results. And they're going to miss Eriksson, of course, but they're a pretty mature team. They're always in and around it. So, I wouldn't particularly want the Danes. But that said, there isn't anything amongst those three that Wales should be tremendously scared of.
Not at all. Now, Richard Baker's in the chat says, GMAC on a final table. Is this a rerun from 2009? Well, if it's nothing else, it is a nudge to me to say I should really just be running down this final table, because we are down to 9. Gordon is the short stack at this final table. Chip leaders Paul Allen from the UK got just over 1 million chips now. Royston Wijman, who I mentioned earlier on, from the Netherlands. Matthias Judd from Austria. Philip Muller from Malta. Danny Strange from the UK. Mark Shepstone, who's got back up to 16 bigs now. He was down on half a big blind when we spoke earlier on. Raymond Chan from Canada. Ray's a regular player with APAT. And Marcus Wittmann from Austria makes up the 9. So good luck to all of you. All in the money, all guaranteed $85 at the moment. But as I say, Des would love you to be spending $722 on Amazon over the next 2 days. One of you is going to get to do it anyways.
Happy days. If you get it, buy something nice. Buy something nice for your better half.
Aren't they just selling? Isn't it just an opportunity to sell off stock that they don't really want?
Probably,
is there really for anything?
Yeah, but
it feels like it's like Black Friday. It's all set up and fixed.
Don't know. To be honest, I'm not. Despite the fact that I mentioned it, it's not something that interests me too much.
Well, I was looking. So a number of years back, we were just finishing off our new kitchen, and I'd built a space in the wall to put a TV in the.
To put a safe. Go on, tell everyone, Leigh, to put a safe right behind a picture. Go on, carry on.
I had it all set up, measured up. So I'd seen what Sony TV I wanted. So I've been keeping an eye on it. It was a silly. I couldn't work out why it was quite expensive, but it was the exact one that I wanted. But I thought, well, I'll wait and see what happens on Black Friday. And of course, lo and behold, Black Friday, boom, those particular range of Sony TVs hammered down in price. So basically, it was a false price in the first place. But okay, fine. So still got one. Then it got to Christmas, and that range of TVs was no longer being sold by one particular retailer. It had now been moved to another who were doing it as a deal as well. And you just thought, this is just a con, isn't it?
Well, it is and it isn't.
Have you ever tried to compare one TV to another TV?
It's not easy
when you're looking at what's that got that hasn't.
Yeah, well, each brand sort of has their own little language, yeah, for sure. It's not easy.
And I've learned that there's a particular retailer in the UK that is never knowingly undersold. Who actually just get in particular ranges of TVs and things that they only sell.
Oh, it makes sense. It
Which
makes
means,
sense.
of course, it's very
Yeah.
easy to then be
Never
never be
undersold.
undercut. Yeah,
Absolutely.
Yeah, so.
Oh, I could tell you a thing or two about these people.
Well, you've worked in the industry, haven't you? So you know what.
2 years ago, the business I was with 2 years ago, I think we were doing 40 million a year on Amazon, selling through Amazon. I mean, Amazon is huge business.
It's huge, frightening, isn't it? Yeah, absolutely frightening.
But I tell you where you want to steer clear of when it comes to selling in the UK, and that is TV. Steer clear of TV. They do quite big numbers, but the returns are horrendous.
Really?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
We will avoid that. So still 9 on this final table. We're down to 5 in the PLO. We've lost Brendan, who made the min cash. Peter,
lucky Brendan
there as well. So so I'm very, very pleased for Wales through, and we don't play now until Saturday. So nice break. I felt for Ampadu a little bit. I don't know whether you saw the game or saw the tackle.
Yeah, I did.
It wasn't the greatest challenge. It was a little bit late, but I felt I've seen 4 or 5 of those already in this tournament. And they've never been more than a yellow card. That one felt just a little bit more over the top. They were describing it as a stamp, and I thought it felt a little bit harsh because he was just late.
Yeah. So look, at the end of the day, there's deliberate sort of fouling, and there's accidental fouling. I don't for a minute question it was accidental, but it probably was dangerous. And I know on TV they're fond of saying, it was low, it was on the ankle, it wasn't on the leg. Ankles get broke too, and he's unfortunate. But it sounds as if there was a pretty clear direction given to the refs. And
but they say that it felt like at the moment they say there's been a few of those where players have been caught with studs showing, and they booked them, and that's been it. And as we lose Gordon on this final table, he gets a kiss goodbye from Royston, and Gordon departs in 9th position. But it just felt a little bit. It felt tough. But apparently, it's only going to be a one match ban, so that means he'll be back for the quarterfinals, semi-final, and the final.
Who are you tracking against now for the quarters? Should everything go well in the last 16?
That's a cracking question. I looked it up the other day and I've completely forgotten. I'll have to go and.
I tell you what, while you're faffing about, let me do it because I've got the app.
You got the app.
In fact, not only for the app, I tell you what I can do. This might look
bring it up on the screen, can't you? Probably.
Yeah, I was exactly going to do that, but I'll tell you what. Let me put it up on a blank one.
It's actually more. It's a bit more confusing because it's So it's going to be. So we're the first round of 16 game, and we'll be playing the 3rd round of 16 game. So we'll be playing.
So you go through as two.
We'll be playing. Right? It'll probably be Holland. It'll probably be the Netherlands.
So the Netherlands are the 3rd in DE.
They're already confirmed. The Netherlands through. They're winners. So they're going to be playing the 3rd team in DE or F. So you'd imagine it'll be the Netherlands.
Yeah.
And as I say, I've not seen anything of the Dutch so far that's making me think.
Agree. And you will be in the same half of the draw. So the semis would give you the 1st in E or the 1st in D. So the 1st in E is likely to be. Well, I mean, it's hard to tell. It could be Spain. It should have been Spain, but at the moment we're not sure.
It could be England in the.
And the 1st in D could be England, albeit England. Old Southgate's getting a bit of a slapping for the performance against Scotland.
Seems a bit harsh, to be honest.
He's playing a blinder, isn't he? Because
you're avoiding that horrible group of death, aren't you? Really?
Absolutely. A draw against the Czechs will put them through safely in 2nd, and they avoid the group of death.
Yeah. No, and to be perfectly honest, it's back to what Mancini was saying earlier on, isn't it? As we've just lost Danny Strange in 8th place.
Lucky Dan.
It's it just got to get through the group. It doesn't matter, and then see where you are. It's 4 games. I think what disappointed England fans the most was the performance against Scotland. Scotland turned up. and England pretty much didn't. But I'd
Yeah.
rather, if you're an England fan, I'd rather that now.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then hit the ground running. I mean, there was a couple of strange things there. I mean, I couldn't understand why Grealish didn't get more of a run out. Kane doesn't look fit. I don't know how Sterling was still on the pitch.
Yeah, well, listen, the
start.
thing here is I'm not sure how Sterling got selected for the first game, and then he scored. And while people said he had a good game, I didn't think he had a particularly great game.
I don't think he did at all.
He certainly didn't have a great game against Scotland. So I don't expect to see Sterling get selected on Tuesday. So that might be the end of him being the first 11 player for the rest of the tournament. I dare say he'll get games, impact sub, but I'd quite like to see Grealish get a run because, I mean, for me, he's the most direct player England has, and he looks to be the one that will make things happen either through a key pass or a foul or whatever it might be.
Yeah, I think it's tough, and I think it's quite tough for Grealish to come in there, and he played about half an hour, didn't he? But you're coming into that game with half an hour to go. It's a tough one. I mean, it's a difference if you start and you can start dictating the game from the off. Trying to come in, and I don't know how much of an impact player Grealish necessarily. And there's some players it just doesn't work for them off the bench. They're just not there. They can't have that impact off the bench as they do if they're starting a game and dictating the pace of the game from the start. So it'll be interesting to see. I mean, again, Rashford came on for 20 minutes. I mean, in the first game, he brought Rashford on for 20 minutes and played him in 3 positions. How anyone's supposed to get any consistency to do what they're doing. And again, Rashford came on for Kane on Friday night. And as much as, say, I love Rashford as a player and a person, he's not a number 9.
No.
So you've got Calvert-Lewin and there on the bench. Who, if you're taking Kane off and you do want to do like for like, then you get Calvert-Lewin on, don't you? There's no other logical way to do it. Or you turn around and go, well, actually, we're not going to play with a number 9 because actually at the moment, Kane. I mean, somebody said to me the other day, Kane's the problem for the team at the moment because they feel like they can't drop him, but actually the formation doesn't work with him. That type of player at the moment.
Yeah, well, look. I mean, the formation can work with him. I think Kane seems to be off the boil now. Whether he's put, just a huge amount of pressure on himself to have a big tournament because it's in England, he's the captain, he's on the market, all of that stuff, and in fact, these 90-minute games are just. He's under such a microscope that he can't perform. Or I don't know what else might be the issue, but it is a problem. I think it's a big problem for England that Kane isn't currently scoring because I think he's going to be the toughest player for Southgate to drop. So it'll be interesting to see.
How has Sancho had no minutes so far in 2
Well,
games?
you'd have to say, going into this final game against the Czech Republic, whether you'd be sort of, quietly hoping as the England manager that, a draw would be a great result because it puts you in this other half of the draw, or not. I personally would start with the Everton forward, whose name I don't like to use, and you'd have to give Sancho a run out. I'd want to see Grealish in the team, so I'd switch it up a bit. I mean, they've got 4 points, they're qualified. Switch it up. You have absolutely nothing to lose. If you win the game impressively, everybody will go, crikey, look at England, they're back on it. If you draw and squeak into the other half of the draw quietly, that's okay.
Well, take Germany the other night.
Oh, my word.
When Ronaldo scores first, I mean, I genuinely, I was about to send a message actually to Natalie and Adam Bromley going, crikey, England, you can't really complain. Imagine being Germany at the moment. Because, it just looked like they've got absolutely not a clue what's going on. Then all of a sudden, bang, bang, bang,
done.
And comfortably win that game. And they're back now, second joint favourites to win the overall thing. It's a very, very strange tournament.
Indeed.
It really is.
But one thing is certain though, the football is fairly good. I mean, certainly for the games that I've seen, and I cannot wait for the knockout stages to start because then we're going to get into really exciting games, whether they're strategically played out or just end-to-end stuff, pens, all of that sort of stuff. It'll get really dramatic.
Did you see the rumor this week that they are penciling in
Hungary.
the possibility that the final might move to Budapest?
Yeah, I can't see it myself. I can't see it.
So if the UK government aren't prepared to play ball, regarding
So for
people in and
me,
out of the country, then
let's
they
say
will just up. It's lovely. I mean, it's a lovely stadium in Budapest as well. It's a
it's
nice setup there.
a great stadium. But I would say if England have an absolute stinker against the Czech Republic, they're not playing the Czech Republic. No, they are on Tuesday. If they have an absolute stinker, there's a possibility that the likes of Boris and whoever else is responsible for making these calls might look at it and say, well, England are not going to be in this final, in which case we'll stick to our guns. But of course, if England look good, if England look like they're going to be in the semis and the final, which right now I'd still fancy them for, there's no way they're not going to have that at Wembley.
Yeah, you might find all of a sudden, rules and regulations are
Exactly.
going out the window.
That's the way it is. It's a strategic decision. Bad and all as it might be.
Yeah. So looking at this final table, we're down to 6 now. Mark Shepson's been up and down with his stack, but he's still hung on in there and actually laddered up a few places now. The guys are up to guaranteed $136 now. Paul Allen's still comfortable chip leader, 1.5 million in chips, which puts him on about 50 odd bigs with blinds at 15,000, 30,000. So plenty of players. Been quite a lot of action though, and chips are getting in. Philip Muller is actually gone all in. He's a second biggest stack at this table with 6 of them left, and from the button, just no nonsense. I mean, do you like that sort of thing, Des, when you've got that sort of stack? He's got 30 odd bigs. Just right, I'll get that in against 2 shorties to my left.
Against shorties, definitely. But he'll have more information. And one assumes he's played, quite a few hands against Mateus and Mark. He sort of knows what they'll attack back or defend with. One assumes he's got that sort of intel, but he's in a reasonably comfortable situation. He loses an all-in to either of them, and yes, he's going to double them, but minimum, he's still going to be at least as big as them.
Wow, do you realise that in the last 30 seconds we've just done more poker insight than we've done in the last month on this show?
We should do it. We should talk more about poker. We really should. Let's do that now. Would you like to talk about poker? I've got some great poker content for you. Right?
Excellent.
We're going to do this very briefly. Now, when I say poker content, it's a tiny, tiny bit of poker content and quite a lot of flight simulator content. I mentioned this to you before we went on air.
I'm looking forward to this.
So I'm going to show you this quickly, right? Before we get down to the final 3-4 spots on the final table of the main here. About, an hour ago, just before we went on air, I did a quick rundown the strip in Las Vegas on Flight Simulator, right? So I just want to give you a sense of what it looks like on Flight Simulator. Now, I haven't done this in a plane. Each plane you have drones, right? So you can send a drone out, which can photograph your plane and all of that sort of stuff. But you can also photograph the environment. So this is Vegas, right? I think this runs for about 2 minutes. See what you recognize and what maybe you don't. Oh, indeed, we can talk over it. There's no audio or music or anything. Let's see if we can run this. There we go. So that's McCarran on the right, Lee, and this is the start of the strip, right? We got Mandalay Bay coming up here.
Mandalay Bay on the left, yeah.
There we go. So it's a bit jerky. It's a bit windy out.
So you gone over the sign, yeah, over the over the.
There we
sign.
go. Luxor.
Luxor.
So New York, without the coaster. No coaster. The coaster didn't make it.
So we're now heading into the Aria section, isn't it? And
yeah, there we go.
There.
Bellagio, right?
There's the Bellagio with the fountains on the left. Paris on the right.
There you go.
Caesar's Palace on the left.
Rio. Up
Rio
there.
Over in the distance. Then you've got
over
the
in the
Link,
distance.
haven't you? Link there on the right.
Yeah, I've got a little bit drunk here.
Over the Venetian.
Treasure Island, we must have passed there on the left as well.
Win and Encore.
Sweet.
How up to date is this? Has this got the
well, it's reasonably up to date.
Has it got the new Resorts World? No.
I don't know. I haven't looked, to be honest. If it's on the strip, though, we should have been able to identify. Yeah. And there's the Strat.
Strat at the end. What people don't realize, if you haven't been to,
just look at
Vegas,
that.
Maybe is obviously that's the strip actually, but downtown where a lot of
well, we're going to go there, Lee. We're going to go there.
It's not quite where you expect it to be, is it?
It's downtown, depending on. But here it is.
Proper proper downtown. Yeah.
Yeah, and the last time I was there, Sean and I went into the Pawn Stars, the TV show. We went into their pawn shop downtown. Fantastic. Just after we shot some guns. It's great. And
So
there
all
is
of that
Fremont
there, so
Street,
you can
right?
see Fremont Street there, so you can see the tunnel, all the LED.
Now, this is amazing, right? Because if you want to learn Vegas, if you want to learn the layout and everything, this is it. It's picture perfect. How insane is that?
Yeah, it's mad. So it's like, you can see the stratosphere in the back, in the distance there. Yeah, you forget how far downtown is from the actual strip itself, don't you?
It's quite a trek, but it's quite nice just to get that overview of where it sits in relation to the strip.
That's very good, isn't it?
It's superb.
I've not looked at. I did look actually a number of years back at the using the Google Earth version, but that looks even more detailed.
Yeah, it's
very nice.
It's insane because you can take off a McCarran in any type of plane, a little plane, just land.
Hopefully,
it's fantastic.
Hopefully, maybe this autumn we'll be getting to do that.
Well, so, I know you have ambitions, so that was part of the reason why I popped that up there, just to whet your appetite again.
So obviously, for anyone that's has seen, obviously WSOP have released their schedule, 88 bracelet events in the autumn from late September till I think it's the third week in November. Flights are available. Obviously, at the moment, if you're traveling from the UK, you've got the restrictions that are in place. But I get the feeling after the G7 summit, there feels very much like there's been a bit of a agreement in place, and at some point, it might be releasing that US might go green, possibly.
We'll wait and see. Would be good.
That's an option. But certainly, there are flights available at the moment. Somebody did say to me that hotels in Vegas seem to be expensive, more so than ever. Now I'm not sure whether that is because there's a demand. I mean, if you follow lots of great people you can follow on Twitter to find out what's going on in Vegas, and very much the feeling is Vegas is open and
100% open for business.
And there's a lot of people hitting it, and they reckon there's talk that they think that this World Series could be the biggest ever.
Well, it makes sense. I mean, it makes sense that they think that. We'll have to wait and see, of course. But I can see where the optimism is coming from. People are just desperate to get back. Back.
I know Pete Wigglesworth has got flights booked, and is saying we're monitoring the flights at the moment, trying to work what we can do. Just as Mattis is all in with sixes against Mark's jacks, and Mattis hits a 6 on the flop, and
gets a kiss.
Mark is going to depart in 6th place, though.
Lucky Mark.
Though, Mark, $136 for that effort tonight.
So of course,
don't know whether you bought in for 33 or $3.30. I know Mark had won a few tokens. I think he said he was going to use maybe one of his 33s this time round for that, rather than trying to settle it in on the cheap. The only thing cheaper than satelliting in for $3.30, Des, is when you get in with an added value ticket.
Yeah, it's a beautiful thing. But I was saying about the World Series of Poker, the true sign of the excitement, the buzz around the World Series of Poker is, of course, when Carl and John announced the Fantasy World Series of Poker event, and they've done that, so we're up and running.
I'll tell you. Well, I mean, I got we're on the media list, so we get the media press release from the World Series, and we saw the Twitter release. Poker News were all over it. The schedules were all out, and even then I was thinking, but is this really going to happen? And then all of a sudden the other day I got a little ping up message in my Facebook Messenger, Carl, saying, Leigh, it's that time again. Do you think you could update the graphic for me for the fantasy?
See, that's when the buzz starts.
At that point, I went, this shit's got real.
This is on. It's happening.
This is happening. Yeah, so we're all good. So Fandango and Mint Trav have got it set up.
Listen, guys,
they're doing a pick any 10, which is what they did last. Say last year. It's technically 2 years ago, isn't it? So it's an open pick, any 10 players. I'm not even sure at the moment who I'd be going for. I mean, you get the feeling there's a number of players that are desperate. It's the ones that are desperate to play and are likely to really play a massive schedule, because they
schedule.
So much. They're probably the better picks than anybody. I don't see how you could not put a Negreanu in there, because you get the feeling he's really going to go hard on it. But you've got 10 to pick, so you've got plenty of options.
Leigh, it's got to be added to every single orbit from here on out. Any players that are on, are you going to play a big schedule? Just let us know.
Yeah,
Give us a heads up, because Carl's running the fantasy poker.
We know
he
Carl
does
this. He gets in there, and that's it. And we missed a trick with. Well, we did record. So the episode that went out this week, we actually recorded a couple of weeks ago. But of course, it had a couple of absolutely massive.
Shall I run the little thing? I have a little thing. I have the Orbit Extra, right? So the first 2 or 3 minutes of that both shows the Orbit Extra, which is presented by Natalie, which had Rob Young and Sam Razavi on this week. But it also has a little clip from the Orbit itself. So you'll get to see who was on there. Let me run that.
Yeah, cool.
Christ, how the hell do I do this? And where is it? It could be that one. I think it's that one. Let's try this.
Hello and welcome to the Orbit Extra, the show that puts you in control with live and immediate reaction to the very latest episode of The Orbit. I'm your host, Natalie Bromley, and this week the Orbit team have been talking about money. Now, in a few moments' time, I'm going to be introducing you to our guest for this evening's Q&A. But before we do that, for those of you who have not yet had a chance to listen to episode 8 of The Orbit, here's a sneak preview.
We need to get away from this idea of good for poker, bad for poker, and stop using the word next poker boom. Poker is doing amazing everywhere. Online fields are massive. Every single casino that still operates a poker room has a packed house every single night. As tournaments are now resuming post-pandemic, numbers are insane. Like Florida had a huge series of events. All the numbers were breaking records. The World Poker Tour is having huge turnouts on the return of all their events. We're looking at the wrong thing here. We should all go back and think of why poker was so successful when it first grew. It was increased access to the game, whether it was live or online. We removed a lot of that access when Black Friday happened. And yes, I know I'm speaking mostly towards the US, but that's also because the US was the big market that sparked that big boom because they had such great access to the game. Now, we've seen a lot of growth in every single non-US market post Black Friday because over there was legislation put in place. There were things being done to make poker more accessible. So what we need is more easier access to the game. We don't need a poker boom. We don't need to have, a woman winning the main event to all of a sudden turn things upside down. That's all great, but it's not what poker needs. Poker needs money into, sadly, politics. We need money towards the right people that know how to shake the right hands to get.
There you go, Leigh. We need money into politics. And that was Remco, who is the social media stroke marketing manager for Poker Go. Great guy, spoke very, very well. And I think there was a lot of sense in what he said there, that ultimately numbers aren't necessarily the issue for poker today. The bigger issue is, if you like, distribution of the game in markets like America, where it's highly regulated, only available in a very small number of states. Therefore, liquidity is very difficult to achieve, right?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it was a really good show because so you had Remco, who very much had the kind of the media aspect for it. Sean was on there, who's the poker boss, who's he runs the Aria poker room in Vegas. And of course, we had 2 WSOP main event champions in Martin Jakobsen, who won in 2013.
14, I think.
14,
10
yeah.
million.
10
10 million.
So when it was guaranteed, the first prize was 10 million, of course. And the person that created the whole kind of poker boom itself, Chris Moneymaker. And just fascinating. What I took from it, Des, was how just enthusiastic they all still are for the game and talking about it and genuinely care. And it came, that really came across in the show for an hour. And obviously, and their views on money, which was fascinating. Their take on playing high stakes. And if you haven't caught the Orbit Extra, say Rob Young and Sam Razavi's their take on money. They played in some of the biggest games around the world. It's interesting to see how they how they perceive it and what they think should be done with the game.
Yeah.
It's a really, really good watch.
I mean, the Orbit Extra was 50 minutes with Rob and Sam and Natalie, and I think the Orbit itself ran for just over an hour. So it's 2 hours of free content, effectively. Watch it because it is highly entertaining. There was a moment in the Orbit Extra when Natalie was talking to Rob. And I think she wanted to steer it in the direction of, really sensible gambling and stuff like that. And Rob sort of, I'm going to paraphrase him here. He said it sort of helps if there's a bit of pain involved, right? And that actually a bit of pain can be a good thing at times and really mature you, for life generally and stuff like that. He said, I remember playing a game of PLO at 5K, 10K. And it's like Sam Razavi and Natalie both crack up. I was watching and I cracked up just from, being watching it. Can you imagine playing at those levels? I mean, wow.
So they do some splurge stories in the just watching Matthias with Jack 9 against the ace 4 of Paul and 9 on the flop, but an ace on the turn for Paul. So Matthias is going to depart, and we're down to 3. Paul Allen, who's a massive chip leader, got way more than the other two put together. Royston's in second in chips, and Philip Muller is in third. But yeah, so the splurge stories were just absolutely superb. And then Sean's telling this story. There was this guy, and he had a case full of chips. It was like $1 million worth of chips, and everyone's looking, going, "What?" And he dropped them on the floor, and he laughed, and it was all like, and he just like.
He said everybody brought them back. People just, gathered them up and brought them back to him. He said we did a count. They were all there. Every single one was returned.
Every single one was there.
And he said, because there's like thousands of cameras in the sky, all looking down. So a lot of it might have been good faith and what have you. But
and we put a teaser out for the Orbit. But what we put on the teaser is actually at the end of the show as well, because Robbie did his little closing monologue piece at the end, and hashtag this and share and all the lovely things. And it ended and then Martin Jakobsen did a little bit, went all Columbo on us with I've just got one more question for Chris Moneymaker, and it's hilarious. Just well worth watching for that alone. It was genuinely proper fanboy. One World Series champion to another. Is
your name really Moneymaker? Oh, it is. Yeah. Do you think would you have had the same level of success if your name had been Smith? Well, I don't think so. No, I don't think so. In terms of the growth of poker, it was. You just got the sense that those guys hadn't really spoken before. Despite the fact they're both main event champions and what have you, didn't get a sense they knew each other.
Yeah. When we produce the shows, I mean, I get to meet everybody, but then very much kind of step into the background whilst we're recording it and just making sure everything that's working right. But you very much get the impression. It's lovely when you see these guys come on, and just start chatting. Oh, I haven't seen you since whenever and whatever. And yeah, very much felt with Martin and Chris. It was they as both guys that have won the main event that they probably haven't really ever met very often. And I think Martin
they live in different continents, right?
Martin used it as a chance to go, well, I might not get to talk to this guy again, because so I'm going to ask the question. You just assume that poker players playing at high level and playing the circuits, they all know each other, but maybe that isn't necessarily the case. So yeah, it's interesting.
Go and have a look at them, guys. If you fancy a bit of free content, that's great fun. Some of it is breathtaking.
There's a lot of content out at the moment in the world of poker. I mean, it's and I don't know, but I've realized now that poker Twitter has very much become a thing. And again, that's all kicked off this week with another kind of sordid story of who said what to who about what. It's just it's crazy. I don't quite know. I don't know how much you follow on your Twitter, Des, but when these things kick off, my Twitter feed just goes ballistic.
Yeah, look, it's yeah, I don't. I'm not a big Twitter user, and I normally become aware of these things when Robbie drops a message to me or in our group or whatever, sort of you know, it just, you sense that he wants to tear his hair out from the depression of having read another sordid poker story. But frankly, I love that stuff. I'm not tearing my hair out. I'm loving that.
So this one involved the CEO of.
Oh, don't go there. Don't go there.
It was just mad. Just on a Twitch stream, which I don't think was even poker related.
We can't even get the video. If we could have got the video, we might have shown it. But
I'm assuming they've. Yes,
I think it's come down. It's probably. It's probably
very
involved in multiple lawsuits at the moment.
We're down to 7 in the turbo knockout.
And we're going to lose Royston, I think.
And I think we're about to lose, which is just unfortunate timing because the runner queens gives 2 pair to Philip.
We're heads up in both tourneys, Leigh.
Yeah, we are. So Sofia Fernandez from Argentina is up against Simon Steinwieder from Austria in the PLO, and it's Paul Allen versus Philip Muller here on this on the bigger table that we're watching here. But we are heads up in both games.
So Leigh, listen, we discussed the Euros, right? And what fun that is. Have you had any taster at all yet of the South American version, which is ongoing?
Oh, I mean, I've seen some of the games, but not the results, but not actually watched any of it.
So it's red button behind BBC.
It's still in this funny, weird situation. I think I explained it last week, where it's 2 groups of 5, and they all play each other once, and then they get rid of the bottom team.
Yeah, basically. eight out of 10 qualify for the knockout stage.
Yeah, I mean, you'd be hard pushed to knock. Oh, just the PLO's over. Sophia wins that, picks up $375. Simon Steinwinder finishes in 2nd place, and Enrico Ratsep from Estonia, that is, finishes in 3rd. So well done to all of you guys. So again, is that a similar thing, Des, where it just doesn't really matter with the group stages? It's just a case of getting through it and then seeing where you're at afterwards.
Yes. Yeah, I think that's probably fair to say. I tuned in very briefly to one of the games just to prove that, in fact, I could get it to work, because it is red button behind the BBC, or I think I might have watched it on the iPlayer on TV. But the stuff is there. So without doubt, when you get down to the quarterfinals and stuff, there might be 1 or 2 tasty games. You've got the likes of Messi and Neymar and players like that facing off.
Of course, it's a weird one, because normally the Copa America works that it's in the in-between years of the Euros and the World Cup, isn't it? So normally you wouldn't ever have all of this. I mean, we're in a situation where this summer, so you've ended up somehow with a Lions tour, the Euros, the Copa America, and Olympics, all hitting at the same time.
It's insane. It's insane.
Yeah.
It's insane. Every Friday, Sean looks at me and says, "Is it over now?" Every Friday, is it over now? And I faithfully respond, "Yes, it is. It is. But guess what's starting on Monday?"
Yeah.
I think she's giving
Wimbledon,
up on me.
Wimbledon just about to kick off, and of course the Formula One is flying as well.
Watched the race today; it was fantastic.
Oh, this could be
King Jack, King Queen.
King Jack versus King Queen, and it's going to be done on that one. So they're down to. Should put them down to.
I think 6
5
now. Is it 5?
Now in the
5.
Yeah, down to 5. Yeah. I didn't see any of the Formula One today. Was it a decent race then?
Well, it's just insane that they can drive, 55, 56 laps and, come in like a second or 2 seconds apart, having swapped the lead on a couple of occasions through the race.
I get the impression Hamilton's going to struggle this year to retain the title. This is not anything, this is going to be as close as it's been for a long, long time.
Well, he's probably sat there in his garage thinking, well, this is typical. I'm running from my 8th, which, frankly, might be a bit greedy, but it would, without question, make me the most decorated Formula One driver ever. And it's this year of all years that Red Bull seem to have got their stuff together. So, but all of that, despite the challenges that Mercedes are having, there's only a couple of seconds between the drivers at the end of the majority of races, and that's incredibly impressive. Incredibly impressive. And, you know, Hamilton, but for the flick of a finger, could have looked his way to a win last week in Baku. So, you know, I think it'll be a really outstanding season. And there's a hope that we'll get some people back at Silverstone for the British Grand Prix, which typically happens in the first or second week of July.
Yeah, it would be nice. That seems to be. I mean, see, they're using Wimbledon finals weekend as another test event. It seems to be it kind of was whatever suits. But there was 10,000 people at Download Festival the other day.
Was there?
It was the first official
10,000.
The first official UK mosh pit since lockdown.
Well, I'm guessing the 10,000 were all pressed up against the stage. It's not as if they were spread out evenly across the stadium,
they all had to provide a negative test to get in. But other than that, they were pretty much free to. There was no masks or anything going on there. That was it was full on back at a festival, really, back at music.
Hey, have you watched any of GB News?
I steer clear of that, to be honest.
Oh man, you've got to watch it.
Although I understand
it's entertaining.
Well, I did watch a clip of something where the sound quality or actually maybe it was did you put something on last week?
I think I might have sent it to you.
Oh yes, you did. Yes, and that was it. Yes, and so I saw that clip. But apparently they've come out and said, oh, we've improved the quality and we're learning as we go and blah blah blah. And it's like how could they have pumped so much money into getting the thing off the ground in the first place and not actually made sure that well, a couple of things. The cameras were good enough, the sound and lighting was good enough, and actually the person presenting could read an auto cue. Surely that's
and the person producing could produce. So they're having challenges, of course, and they're having them live, which it just makes it entertainment as opposed to news.
In a way, do you think maybe there's a certain element of they've gone, well, okay, we're here, we're not going anywhere in a hurry, so how can we get people on the well, let's not it be slick and everything.
No, I think they probably missed
some days.
They probably underestimated the challenge of getting that thing off the ground. And once you're committed to investors and stuff and you've got a date in stone, it's very hard to push beyond it. But I know when we launched Sky Poker, which was primarily live show based, the Sky Poker TV channel, we were doing rehearsals for a full month before we ever went live.
I mean,
you can't just go live. You just can't go live.
Very much like this show, isn't it? I mean, we'll have a script meeting on Friday. We do a complete run through Saturday.
Absolutely.
Then Sunday morning we'll do a dress rehearsal, won't we? You'll go into make, and then we're in here from 5 o'clock in the evening prepping for this show every Sunday.
Makeup, hair, wardrobe, all of that stuff.
Nonsense.
It's got to be done. It's got to be done, Lee. It's got to be done.
I mean, you couldn't just literally rock up here at 10 to 10 and
I don't know how many fruit platters we get through in a week, right? It's all fruit platters and champagne.
Dear, oh dear. Oh, if only people knew.
I tell you what, Lee, it's funny when we were briefly talking about this before tonight, but when we started this thing, we used to get together 10 minutes before the show started, right? And we'd, if we had a guest, we'd do a run through of the running order with them just to make them comfortable. I think it was more for us to make us comfortable. We remember what things are happening where. And, we then reached a point during the WCOAP where the guest would join. We would all log on about 30 seconds before live.
Couldn't do it any other way.
Got about 20 button pushes and we're gone. We're live.
We were just like, okay, we're on day 12. As we're on there, we're 5 to the hour, so the guys are on their breaks now. And we're down to 4 now in the turbo knockout. John Jacobs got a nice chip lead. They're 1.2 million. Next player's got 850,000. And they're pretty much level pegging now in this No Limit Hold'em main event. Second place is guaranteed $466. It's 722 up top. But there's only a couple of 100,000 between the guys now. Blinds are at 25,000, 50,000. So it's 5 to the hour. So the players are on a sync break.
Sweet.
All good.
I saw on I saw on the Facebook just before we did this thing tonight, Leigh, Rob Needham. He's got 47,000 words. He's pretty much there now. Pretty much there now. 47,000 words. So very, very close now. So maybe 50,000 is sort of the round, number that he's aiming for. In which case he is in the final furlong.
Rob is very much on my list of once he's there. I'm hoping he'll want to come back on the show and talk to us about.
Oh, I'm sure he will.
About the book. Yeah, looking forward to that. Very much looking forward to.
And I tell you, don't the gods work in a funny way? Because I've just got on my, and I kid you not, let me just put this up here so you can see. I've just got on my phone. John Jacobs is watching. And, oh no, it's not Jacobs, it's Jack's. Jack's is the name of the casino chain in Rob's book. So I must admit, I thought for a brief moment it was Jacobs. And I thought, wow, look at that. Don't the planets align in a funny way from time to time, but slightly different.
And Triplin's out watching. Good. I don't get this. Facebook's doing my absolute nutting for actually following who's what or whatever on the stream these days. It's it seems to be restricting what you you see. It is really, really irritating.
Here we go.
What can you do? Not a lot with it, but we are going to try a few other bits and pieces. Obviously, we also stream this on it's on YouTube as well. I know some people do sit and watch it on there, and we have some plans which hopefully will come to fruition in the next
plans. What plans do we have?
We're going to use our budget that's in the bottom right hand corner there. That's Des's Ferrari fund. For anyone who's wondering,
I'll tell you what. Look, here's a clue.
It used to be more. That Ferrari fund used to be bigger than Gordon MacArthur.
Yeah, he just wheeled along and started slashing my tires, didn't he? Slashing my tires.
I'd have ruined a dream.
Oh man, there's so much good stuff here. Let me play this again. I just love this.
They're smarter, they're faster, they're organized.
I love that.
Good. You know what I love about that film? Fun, yeah? I don't want to spoil it for anyone that's not seen it.
Heavy brother, but the dead.
The intro is so clever.
What you mean? The scene where the beast gets released.
You're watching it going, well, I'm kind of assumed this was the premise of the film, and they've wrapped that up in 5 minutes.
Yeah.
What the hell's going on?
Yeah.
It's just really, really cleverly done. It does make you straight away going, well, okay, well, I thought that's because if you kind of roughly know what the film's about, you do watch the first 5 minutes and go, well, that was short, wasn't it? Right. Okay. Because that feels like that's the film. But actually, yeah, what they did is that, they could have made 2 films. Because they could have done an entire film on the first bit of it.
Yeah, it's easy to overcomplicate things, right? The beautiful thing is, sometimes you read a book and, it's very deep and there's lots of texture and stuff like that. And then you go and watch the movie and it's like they're taking whole swathes of the story out because you can do that. People adapt to a storyline very, very quickly. And you're right, they took the entire, what is the creation? What is the before Vegas part of that story, and they distilled it down into a couple of minutes and said, oh, by the way, the whole bit before the couple of minutes, you don't need to know that. You can make that up in your own mind.
But it's now where it is, yeah. But I assumed that was going to be the film,
part of the story, right?
How it was going to be. This is Vegas looking, whoa, and now this is how it gets. But no, they boom. Do
5 minutes, you were straight in there. 5 minutes, you were behind that scene where they I won't give anything away, but they closed the wall, if you like. That was dramatic last minute. Yes.
Very, very good indeed.
Good film. If you haven't seen it, guys, go watch it. Army of the Dead on Netflix. I'm not sure they could have pulled that off on GB News, Leigh. With the audio and the video coming in from a different source.
Do we know when they filmed Army of the Dead? Did they do a lot of the filming whilst a lot of Vegas was kind of bits were shut?
Wow, it looked as if there was a pandemic going on in there. Yeah, I could have.
I'm watching. Do you? I watch.
Bloody nobody was wearing any masks, Lee.
I watch SWAT. I don't know whether
Okay.
you watch SWAT,
No.
which is an American kind of cop show. It's a little bit kind of rah rah rah, feel good American kind of thing. But anyway, so the new series is out, and I think it's about 4 episodes in. But they have gone full on COVID.
Oh,
Oh, it's insane. It's insane. They drop it in everywhere.
drop it.
Into the conversation, and he went and met somebody in prison, and there's a plexiglass barrier up in between the two of them in the room, and he's like, oh yeah, all this COVID thing, and it's dropped in absolutely everywhere in this show. It's very, very funny.
It adds to the realism in an odd sort of way. I am watching something on Netflix at the moment, and I can't for the life of me remember the name of it. I mean, I've seen about 5 or 6 episodes, and it's I'm enjoying it. It's a Russian based show, so the Russian mob family based in London. Right, they're out of it, but they get dragged back in. Of course, they get dragged back in through the financial markets and stuff like that. It's pretty good, but I can't think of the name of it. How bad is that?
Okay. I've just started watching the first one today of Lovecraft Country.
Okay.
Which is a Sky Atlantic one. First episode properly hooks you in. Yeah.
Lovecraft County.
Lovecraft Country.
Country.
Country, yeah.
Oh, for a brief moment there, it sounded like a reality show for like cousins.
No, definitely not. Yeah, but it's very, very good. First episode is proper hooks you in, and
Lovecraft Country.
Yeah.
I can't picture what the hell that's about. What is that about?
It's very, very difficult to explain. From what I've seen so far, it's quite bizarre. But there's some. Well, I don't want to ruin it for anyone who's not seen the first episode, because it does go off on an absolute twist that you're not perhaps expecting.
Oh, don't ruin it. Don't ruin it.
No. So I won't ruin anything, because the first 3/4 of the first episode, you're like, okay, this is going down one route, and then it takes an almighty twist in the last quarter. It's a HBO.
Well, HBO do things well, you have to say. They do indeed.
Yeah, although John Oliver does like to take the piss out of them, they do put on a seriously good series.
Well, it's like everything else. It's about, you've got to spend the money, right? You've got to spend the money. And for those big series, you look at all of the big successful series, they've required a very significant chunk
and there we have it.
change.
Paul Allen has taken down the main event tonight. Very well done,
Paul.
to you, Paul. Picks up $722. Philip Muller will have to accept the $466 for second place. Well done to you, though, Paul. And just got 3 left now in the PKO, which is we're getting close to being able to work out who's top of the leaderboard ladders for this week.
It's gone super quickly tonight, Lee.
Yeah, I think it's it seems to be the way we're kind of it goes on a Sunday now these days now, isn't it? We get to kind of 11:30 or not even 11:30 sometimes, and so it's done. So numbers are a little bit lighter. Certainly in the turbo knockout, that's normally up around 70 odd, and it's only 55 in there tonight, which is why we're down to 3 now. Obviously, John Jacobs has been on the stream. We saw him in the chat earlier on. So, and he is. They're actually level. They're all level pegging now. Pretty much, they pretty much all have about 900,000 in chips. Blinds are at 12,500, 25,000. Always difficult to work this one out. Third place picking up $42, and first and second are picking up 67. Of course, then you've got the bounties on top. John Jacobs has already scooped $41 in bounties. John Mather is the one that's hardly got any bounties so far. He's only picked up $6 worth. So somebody is going to scoop a nice tidy sum of bounties before the end of the night here.
Very nice. Did you see any of the Scots content? There was a lot of Scots content coming out on Friday. Did you see any of that?
Well, they just were all getting a bit carried away. Yeah.
Oh, Lee, some of it was absolutely fantastic. I've got one here. I'm desperate to show you this. Let's see if I can get this up on screen for you, because just before we go, because honestly, it was so funny. I might go. I'll have to do it on this phone, because then I'll have some audio for you as well. Oh, go away. Oh, some absolutely brilliant stuff came out from the Scots. So they came down and they just had a ball.
Went back with a couple of goalposts, didn't they? So here, or was that?
I think that was last time out.
Different year.
No, they were fantastic. I didn't hear of any trouble, but
what do you what's your take on whilst you're trying to find that and get that to work? I mean, could you see? I could so see like a Six Nations style tournament in between the World Cup and Euros.
Would love to see it back. Would absolutely love to see it back.
Better than that Nations League nonsense that gets.
Oh, will you stop? The Scottish bloke just keeps talking. Right, I'll be able to put this up. So I'd love to see the British Championship back, which is what I think you're describing there.
Yeah, I think it would be. I think it would genuinely be good for
get both of the Irish teams in there as well. I think that'd be fantastic. British and Irish home sort of countries type
so
thing.
everyone plays each other in a little round robin thing over a couple of weeks. Will be a cracking end to the season every other year or something like that. But say better than the League of Nations nonsense.
You betcha. Right, let's see if we can get this on. Lee, do I have this? Let's do that, and put that there. There we go. So Scottish bloke, right? This is Friday morning, first thing, down in London. Oh, yeah. He's already pissed, already off of his head. Watch him go. He's pulling a bit to the left. I got to warn you.
Oh.
With friends like that, right? barely dented him.
Seriously.
No, he's fine. He's absolutely fine. So
if you were on the motorbike, though,
But look at this. Look at this, Lee. Just watch how they change song mid flow. Now, these guys didn't come on a train. They've marched down the line from Glasgow. See what I mean? They've changed song.
It's like when they're on those kind of those parades, isn't it? And you go from one band to the next as they're going.
This poor guy, he's just had a shocker. He's had an absolute shocker. He's had an absolute shocker, and I think
I hear the police pretty much they just gave up basically in the end. Yeah, they just decided it was easier just to let them get on with it.
And it goes on. There's plenty of that stuff. It is hilarious, but it seems like they had a lot of fun. I didn't hear of any trouble. Hopefully there was no trouble, but fair play to them. The team also did them proud.
Yeah, no denying that. It's a good performance. And we're heads up now. John Jacobs against Evan Horton.
So I know. Let's call a bit of poker.
This could be over quite quick.
Well, you say that, but they're very, very evenly stacked here. 54 bigs to 53 bigs.
Yeah, the trouble is it's so they're both playing about 50 bigs at the moment. Blinds to 15,000, 30,000. But as I say, it is the turbo one to end the week, and there is some chunky bounties here. You can just make that out. There's going to be about $80 worth of bounties. Yeah. Whoever wins this on top of the 67 that they're going to pick up for either first or second.
So John's got a little more in bounty, so he's been maybe a little bit more aggressive through the tournament.
Yeah, he's already picked up, say, $46 in bounties to Evan's 25, and that's obviously what they've got left on the head. Which obviously, when it's heads up, it effectively gets doubled up.
Yeah.
So That's what they're pretty much playing for, because first and second place for the standard cash payout is always pretty much the same in these. So Simon Lawler's in the chat saying COVID-19 on tour. Yeah. Imagine if they got further and were back down at Wembley again for a knockout stage game. I think Wales are playing in Amsterdam.
It's going to be a great atmosphere.
Round of 16.
Yeah.
Didn't see that many Welsh fans actually in Rome, which was quite surprising. Wasn't
you sure they weren't just lost among the stadium crowd?
Wasn't that many more that went to Baku? I think it's very difficult to know, because I don't know quite how they're doing the ticketing for this. Whether they're obviously, with a normal tournament like this, tickets are done well in advance, and you've got your ticket and you're done. Whereas now, I think it's as things are changing in different countries and whatnot. Certainly out the group stages, it's going to be nigh on impossible for them to have sold tickets too far in advance for this. As I say, I get the feeling that there's potential. The final potentially might not even be at Wembley.
Yeah. So, listen, guys, if there's any Venezuelan fans out there, they've just equalized against Ecuador. What are we going to call this? It's like the Vanarama South American League playoffs.
Did you see the National League playoff was today? It just reminded me, it was like a Sky Sports kind of playoff, because it was Hartlepool versus Torquay, which is Jeff Stelling versus Helen Chamberlain.
Yeah.
Yeah, so right. It's like
perfect.
I can't believe two what were league clubs playing off, trying to get back into the Football League. So it's quite mad when you look at those lower leagues divisions now. I think of when I was a kid growing up, and you had your kind of staple of them. Well, you
don't want to get stuck down there.
There was as much relegation out of the league as there is now. And now you look and you kind of, I sometimes have to go, are they in the Football League? Are they?
That's right.
Really? Yeah. Who's not in the Football League anymore? You could literally run a quiz on it, couldn't you? Of who's in, who's not.
Oh, there's an idea. I like a penalty kick round. Let's do that.
We should do that. Yeah, we should do that.
Damn, let's add that to the running order for next week, eh? 11
Actually,
o'clock.
I completely forgot.
In place, I know there's so much going on.
Yeah, we got a new quiz lined up, guys. So and especially whilst we're in the middle of a football tournament, it's a nice theme to it. So we will definitely do that next week, which means we need a guest on the show. It only really works if you've got a guest on the show. Otherwise,
but now you can tell somebody there's a potential prize.
Jen's just put a hand up and said she'll be the guest.
Potential prize.
Use Jen to trial it with Des. Yeah, Des got a pasting.
Look, I miskicked a couple. It was only that. I mean, the wind was horrendous, really. Dodgy penalty spot, all of that sort of stuff.
All of those things. Yeah, he did a John Terry. Yeah. So. But yeah, so we do need to get a guest on next week, and then we can and then we'll whoever's the guest on can either take on Des for a prize. We'll sort out.
Yeah, I don't think so.
Yeah.
Once you've missed a penalty, you don't want to go back too soon.
You just needed the right quiz subject. That's all you needed. You got done by.
That's right. When you mix countries, the UN, and vowels all in the same quiz. So it gets a bit challenging for me.
So Des won the toss and had a choice of whether he chose to answer first or pick the subject. And he chose stupidly to answer first and let Jen pick the subject. Well, there was no hope he was going to. Jen wasn't picking football. No, that wasn't happening. So.
But I didn't understand. I mean, I asked you, I said, what's the strategic play here, Leigh? Does one go with the subject because I wasn't sure whether if in fact, if you were the first to get to 5, not that there was ever a chance that we were going to get to 5, but if you were the first to get to 5, then it was an advantage to go first. It's got to be a strategic, but we know now. We know for the next time.
We need like a Dan Houston on here, because Dan would break it down, wouldn't he? He'd be like, right, so let's just work this through. If I go first, yeah, I'm getting to answer first, so I can take the most popular question.
That's
That's a
right.
benefit to me. But then I don't get to choose the subject.
That's a 38% route.
Yeah,
However, if I pick
exactly.
the subject,
Yeah,
62% right there.
there is and of course it depends who you're up against. If
Yeah.
you're up against somebody that's is comfortable over a wide range of topics, well, yeah, you're not as bothered, are you? But if you know that actually they own one or two subjects, then you can
You
obviously get them
absolutely
in.
take the subject. Yeah.
Yeah, then you take the subject every day of the week and put them in a tricky spot.
Yeah.
don't you? So,
I'm going to go for the 19th century crocheting, please. Let's just.
yeah.
Let's
So,
just
and
keep
all
going.
of this is before we even ask a question. we've not even got as far as asking a question yet. You've got all these tactics to build into this. So Evan's taken a bit of a chip lead here now. Really has over 2 million in chips against John's 600, which as you can see on the screen in big blind terms. It's nearly it's 5 times.
Here we go. John's all in.
And John's all in, which is kind of when he's down to sort of 12 bigs,
Yeah.
it's kind of starting to be the only way to play this now. Really, Evan gives a little bit back there as well. The trouble is with 13 bigs, it's very difficult. John doesn't have much room to raise fold. So it's a case of getting in, and we're going to be waiting for two hands to collide here.
What's your range in this sort of situation? What are you happy to call an all in with?
With the chip lead that
in
Evan's
Evan's
kind
situation.
I'm probably looking at I might even take a pump with some suitor connectors on the case of them. I've got two. He might be against two overcards, but I've got a nice opportunity to hit. Difficulty is you can't actually let John get too far back into the game. If that's going to be John's.
Oh, well, here we go.
John's tactic.
King against an ace.
It's a dominated situation for John. He's going to need to hit a king.
It's an ace. Club wouldn't have helped either, but there we go.
And
there we go.
That's going to be that. So John Jacobs finishes in second, picking up. John does all right in the end there, picks up about $113. And Evan Horton from Canada ends up picking up $173 for that one. Say absolutely. He went from $25. So his bounty, Des, went from $25 to $106. I said to you it's about $80 odd.
Boom. Yeah.
Boom. That's that final one. It's absolutely super critical. It's what makes it work in the end. Unfortunately for John, that also means he's just going to miss out on the top 20 this week.
Ouch.
A win would have got him into the top 20 this week, but he is just gonna miss out, unfortunately. So what that does mean is Igor Asimov from Germany ends up top of the tree for the week. He was on step 3, so he's going to pick up 3 lots of $33 tickets. Well done to him.
Great.
The other guys in the top 5. Tony Ross is on step 4, so he's finishing second. Ricardo Wolfgang from the Netherlands is he's on step 1, but he had 4 cashes this week, so
nice.
Expect to see him move up the leaderboard. Gordon MacArthur. Gordon, honestly. Step 4 at the moment. He finishes in 4th, and Igor Chegorov from Russia had a couple of cashes this week, and he finishes in 5th. So Tony and Gordon will be moving up to step 5. They will be joining Mark Shepstone, who stays on step 5. He finished in 6th. Just missed out on doubling up his tickets, but he'll pick up a $109 ticket for his efforts this week. Tony Gintini from the UK. We've had Tony on the stream in past. He was on step 3 this week. He's made it top 20, so he's going up to step 4. And so is Hegedus Gergo from Hungary. A couple of cashes this week. He moves up to step 4. Everybody else in the top 20 was on step 1, so they'll all move up to step 2, which means we've just got 3 that are top of the tree for next week. Then so it'll be Tony, Gordon, and Mark all looking to try and add to their 109 tickets.
Sweet. Well done, guys. Thank you, Leigh. That was a great summary of where we finish the week, as it were. So well done to everybody who picked up tickets and cashes along the way. Leigh and I are going to be back same time next week, right? Sunday night, 10 o'clock. We'll be back.
With a guest and a quiz. With a
Yeah,
guest and a quiz.
hopefully we'll have a guest. If we have a guest, we'll do a quiz. If we do a quiz, we'll probably add a prize. So that'll add a bit of fun. And I've done this quiz. It's really funny. It's interactive, so you will enjoy it. So we might do that in place of Turbo Millionaire at 11 o'clock, Leigh, right? So do remember that, guys. Get in for the quiz. And I think that's probably it. Just left for Leigh and I to say, hope you have a great week. Enjoy your tourneys, and we will see you on Sunday, right? So have a good one, folks.